It's time to do things differently. Trust your team, be radically honest, and never, ever try to please your boss. That's what it says on the back of this New York Times bestseller. That's right. Yeah, and it says, these are some of the ground rules behind a unique cultural experiment, one that explains how a DVD mail order service transformed itself at lightning speed into one of the most radical and successful businesses in history, a streaming superpower that rivals the likes of Disney. Now, what's interesting about this is that it's something that I talk about. I've written about the difference of why did Netflix actually rise and actually Blockbuster completely go out of business. Ooh. Now, the interesting thing about that is, Blockbuster had an opportunity to buy Netflix, okay? Blockbuster made one of the cardinal sins of building and sustaining a company, and that was, don't be married to the wrong thing. And what they were married to was their own solution. Right? Their solution was, well, we want a brick and mortar store. We want some place where you can, when you check out, and you can actually go ahead and buy your Twizzlers and buy your malt balls and buy your Kit Kat bars all on your way as you're checking out, whether it was VHS or whether it was DVD, whatever it was. But one thing that not everybody knows is that, the model of Blockbuster was built also on another flaw, and that was the big chunk of their revenue was in the late fees. So you and I, got penalized for actually having a life. At that point, you might as well be the IRS, right? So the thing is, or a company that provides insurance, or some industry that everybody hates, you see. So that's not a good business model. They were married to the wrong thing. They were married to their business model, which is a thing. Life continues to move on. Netflix, on the other hand, they were married to the right thing. They were married to the timeless thing, which is values. People like to be entertained. Netflix, the company, started out as a DVD by mail company, but they then were able to move and pivot because they were married to the right thing, providing entertainment. They were able to move and shift into digital distribution and then streaming distribution. But not only that, they didn't stop there. They actually even contributed to the entertainment options and going bigger. One of the key principles of branding is you always go bigger. When in doubt, go bigger. And they went bigger in terms of now they produce more original TV content than any other company in the world, including Disney. Now, but all that, basically lays the framework for this. In the book itself, in the introduction, okay? Introduction right here. Introduction on page 24, Roman numerals 24. This is what it says. You have to connect the dots differently. In his famous commencement speech at Stanford University, Steve Jobs said, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. Jobs is not alone. Sir Richard Branson's mantra is said to be ABCD, or always be connecting the dots. And David Brier, that's me, and Fast Company released a fascinating video that claims the way we connect life's dots defines how we see reality, and thus how we make decisions and reach conclusions. The point is to encourage people to question how the dots are connected. And so right there on that page, there's Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, and me. So I don't know about you, but that was remarkable. Now, I didn't actually learn about this until after the book was published, which is incredible. It wasn't like they said, hey, by the way, we're going to be publishing this, heads up. I had no clue, literally, until somebody emailed me and said, by the way, David, love when I see someone that I know in a New York Times bestseller. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, the new Netflix book. And I was so busy with projects, that wasn't even on my radar. I'm like, what new Netflix book? I'm like, are they talking about their programs? Are they talking about, I mean, I had no clue. So I didn't know anything. So my apologies to you, Reed Hastings and Erin Meyer. And so thank you, Erin, by the way, we're now connected. And so thank you for the inclusion. But having, myself along with Steve Jobs and Richard Branson, I just was honored that had happened. And that was rather remarkable that was something that I discovered. So in this book, No Rules, Rules, Netflix and the Culture of Reinvention, okay? Very, very interesting word, because for those of you that have been following me, you know that I have my book, right, which is Brand Intervention. And in the word intervention is the word invention. And so brand intervention is a concept, is a philosophy, is an actual applied methodology for creating the kinds of brands in the world that actually stand apart and make a difference. It's an honor to be in this book, No Rules, Rules, and Netflix and the Culture of Reinvention with Reed Hastings, Erin Meyer, and Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, and David Brier. What an amazing combination. But that's what made my day. Actually, there was one more thing that made my day. It was when I came back from a recent conference that I was speaking at. And I came back, and this is what I was actually shown. It was in a box, waiting for my retrieval. And that is what it's about. So between branding, the hat, and this, I feel armed and ready, because you always got to be connecting the dots. You got to be willing to see the dots that others are overlooking. And you got to be willing to basically see right now, you notice the dots that are actually helping connect the word branding. All of these things are coming together. And with that, I just want to say, keep on shining the light. Do not get complacent. Do not be married to the wrong thing. Okay? Do not be married to your solution. Be married to your customer's aspiration. Okay? And then make sure to get yourself quoted on the same page as living legends. That is where life takes on a whole new meaning. So thanks for that. Thank you, Reed Hastings. Thank you, Erin Meyer. Thank you, guys. And keep on shining the light. Make it a great one. Ciao.